We currently live in a world where technology consumes us. It is a part of everything we do, whether it is research, communicating with friends and family, or even expressing our own opinions and creativity. Technology and social media continue to progress and become more present in our everyday lives. Since technology is so present, it is imperative for everyone to become digitally literate to achieve future success in society. To be digitally literate means to be able to understand, evaluate, and share content using technologies such as the internet. In Kelly's article, Becoming Screen Literate, he discusses how oral skills and memorization are a thing of the past. He simply states we are becoming people of the screen, and he cannot be more correct. It is hard to accomplish any everyday task without the use of a screen. Before this class, I assumed since I grew up in front of a screen and had a Facebook account for years, that I knew all there was to know about being digitally literate. Clearly, I was wrong. Yes, I know how to use my iPhone to check my emails and the weather and could easily tweet about not wanting to go to class, but that did not mean I was digitally literate by any means. Digital literacy is a bigger part of my life than I ever imagined. Communications of theory and practice has allowed me to further research this term and discover what it truly means by watching detailed videos, reading articles from notable theorists, and exploring different social media platforms to see what the web really does have to offer me. This class had me take a closer look at social media and what it actually should be used for and how it should be properly used. I realized that Twitter is more than just a platform for me to express myself, but is also a way for me to connect with others who have similar views while expanding my knowledge on other topics as well. One way to do this is to connect with others, which can be done by following more people on Twitter. I began adding my fellow CTPF 15 classmates because that has only allowed me to get to know them through their tweets and retweets, but by reading the content they are tweeting, I have become more knowledgeable in topics I wasn't familiar with, such as real estate, meditation, and sports. This strengthens the concept that social media can provide knowledge and form connections between its users. Another concept that this class has taught me is how to properly tweet. I never realized there was such a thing as a thick tweet, but it has become very useful in my journey of becoming digitally literate. David Silver introduces this concept of a thick tweet in his article, The Difference Between Thick and Thin Tweets. A thick tweet consists of 1 to 2 layers of information, usually a hyperlink, hashtags, and a picture that represents your tweet. I realized that my tweets have been lacking in meaning, and by developing them more, I will gain more attention and reach more viewers. This concept has been great in this semester, especially for my internship, where I use Twitter to promote my fashion blog monthly. Thick tweets have allowed me to impress my bosses with a high amount of views on my blog because people are intrigued by my thick promotional tweets. Along with my blogging internship, I also created a food blog called A Little Taste of Philly for class, which has allowed me to share my food experiences with others digitally. Since I had my internship and blog training before school started, I assumed that I was already a blog whiz, but in reality, I was an amateur compared to other food blogs I came across online. Blogging is tough because along with creating the blog, I need to create the blog's content by finding food experiences that are worth writing about. The content needed to be exciting and interesting to grab the attention of my readers and set me apart from other Philly food blogs. Creating my Philly food blog from scratch on WordPress, a public blogging platform, was a way for me to contribute to my culture digitally. I learned about this concept of no longer being a consumer in society in Henry Jenkins' Confronting Powers of the Participatory Culture. This means I have the power of artistic expression and civic engagement, strong support for creating and sharing creations, and some type of informal mentorship whereby experienced participants pass along knowledge to novices. In my blog, I wanted to pass along knowledge to my audience, which was college students in the Philadelphia area. So I strive to make my blog informative about the restaurant's atmosphere, detailed about the food and its ingredients, and provide foodie-type pictures so that students would know exactly what they were in for when they went to dine at the restaurants I had been weekly spotlighting. I wanted to make a personal connection with my college students in the area, and Reingold emphasizes this concept of how blogging makes this possible and participation is power. He says, when you share, you make personal connections with people, while enhancing the experiences of strangers who follow your blog and contribute to the collective evaluation of online media. Another concept that is important about being digitally literate is being able to use the internet to find information online. I applied this to my blog by using the app site to research food-related topics. I was able to find food articles from the Philadelphia Magazine food section that helped me find popular and hip restaurants in the area to be spotlighting for my viewers. Pocket was a great platform which helped me to keep track and organize all my food articles I found on site. Part of becoming more digitally literate is accepting the concept that screens can provide me with a vast amount of knowledge. Even Kelly states, new distribution and display technology is nudging the book aside and catapulting images, especially moving images, to the center of the culture. The new way to gain information through the web and platforms like sites and even blogs and Twitter, where people can provide personal experiences, are ways to learn information in this digitally literate world. After learning the importance of social media, blogging, and accepting the screen as a primary way to gain information, we wrapped up this semester with one more key part of becoming digitally literate: mashups. Whether it consists of audio, memes, or text, taking others' work and creating it into your own, this concept has become a phenomenon in this culture. In his TED Talk, Kirby Ferguson talks about how everything over time is reused and made into something new because everything is a remix. In order to keep up with our culture, we must be aware of mashups and be able to create our own because it is important for the future. In class, we created our own remixes with vintage magazines. Ferguson talks about how we are building with the same materials, so it is important to be able to know how to use these materials in a digital sense. Being able to use these tools is the foundation of literacy because evolution is up to us, and we need to be able to use the resources we have to expand them in the future. As the semester comes to a close, I look back at my lack of knowledge about blogging, creating connections through social media, and using platforms like Twitter and Zeit to gather information. I realize even though I may have been born into a digitally literate generation, that does not mean I'm actually digitally literate. Things are constantly updating and new technologies are always being released that will impact my future and future generations as well. If I do not begin to become more literate on what is going on digitally, I will begin to fall behind. I am thankful for this class, which has allowed me to become more knowledgeable on our society as a whole has changed, because everything is digital and it has helped me gain the skills on how to use technology properly through the concepts and theories discussed in our class.